Let's get our full-blown acceleration with the Tow and Go. Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's video we're going to be going over the all-new 2021 Dodge Durango with the Tow and Go package. But first and foremost, a huge shout out and thank you to the Larry Miller Dodge Ram here in Sandy for giving me some time with the Durango. Check out their inventory in the link below. Let's get straight into the video. Under the hood of the Tow and Go package, we have a naturally aspirated 5.7 liter Hemi V8 that goes through an 8-speed automatic transmission. Power outputs are 360 horsepower and then 390 pound-feet of torque, with fuel economy being 14 around town and then 22 on the highway. Let's go to the front end of the Tow and Go package. So just like all of the other RTs, you still get the sport hood with all of the venting, which looks really good. And then coming down below, you've got the full LED lights with the newer iteration on these lights for the 2021 model year. And then you still get the performance front fascia with the fog lights in this area, and then parking sensors all along the front, and then more venting here at the very bottom. And other than that, that's the front end on the Tow and Go. Now coming on the side here, we've got 295mm tires wrapped on 20-inch wheels in the front and over in the rear as well. And then we do have adaptive dampening as well as the performance suspension, which is pretty cool, and Brembo brakes. So you basically have all the stuff from the SRT but thrown into this RT Durango, which is pretty neat. And just look at the size of those rotors. Those rotors are bigger than some cars have in terms of their wheel size. You've got the Hemi badge there on the side, and other than that, here's your full side view on the Tow and Go. Now let's pop into the back here of the Tow and Go. So first off, we have the cargo cover back here, which has the shortest cargo cover pull-out thing ever, because I mean, literally it's just right there. Obviously you do have the other point that you can put it on back there, so you can fold down the third row, and then you have the longer extension with the cargo cover. Still think that's pretty funny though. And then notice that you do have a 12 volt kind of hiding under there, and then underneath this you've got some extra storage space. And then this is just a button to lower back down the rear hatch. So let's do that and finish things up with the rear. So slow. Now this is called the Tow and Go package, so let's talk about the payload and towing capacity. So the towing capacity is 8,700 pounds and the payload is 1,200 pounds. Really capable for an SUV. And then notice you've got the full LED lights back here. You've got the dash 4 because this does have 4-wheel drive, and then your RT badge. And then underneath this bezel is the tow package. You guys already heard the exhaust. We'll get another exhaust clip later on in the video. But yes, it does have a performance exhaust also as part of this package. And that's the rest of the rear. Now let's go over the rear door panel here in the Tow and Go package. So first off, you've got this strip down here at the bottom, and you've got the beautiful leather trim down below that with the red contrasted stitching that goes across. A couple speakers here for the sound system, and then here are the seats in the back. So we've got these full leather seats. You've got the Dodge logo on it, perforated leather down the center, and then again more of the red stitching. This one does have the captain chairs, and speaking of captain chairs, let's sit on the captain chair. So first off, the leather is very soft. They're really comfortable. I'm 5'11", tons of headroom. Legroom is just as solid, and you got some climate controls here at the top. Notice that you've got the Alcantara headliner, which I think is definitely a cool touch for a performance SUV like this. But I know you guys want me to go in the third row, so oh, I just hit my head. I will squeeze here into the third row. Okay, well, once you're back here, it's actually pretty comfortable. Getting back here is not the easiest, but once you're back here, I mean, headroom, I fit pretty good, and legroom is actually not bad whatsoever, and got a little cup holder back here too. Before we go over the door panel here in the front, I just realized I called the headliner Alcantara. It's actually suede. That was my bad. But anyways, coming over to the door panel here in the front, notice you got that same trim here with the leather down below and the stitching that goes across. All of your window controls here at the top. Memory seats there just up above it. And then this does have the Harman Kardon sound system. You can see the speaker there in the front. Definitely looks nice. And then here are the seats at the front. So again, full leather here with the Dodge logo. And you got the stitching that goes all the way down. And then your adjustments there on the side of the seat. And then notice you got the pedal layout right there. Light control just up above, and then the steering wheel is automatically adjustable. And there's one more look before we pop in. Now let's go over the steering wheel here in the Tow and Go Durango. So we've got the leather here at the top, and then at the bottom that's softer and smoother. And then also the leather here on the side, it's got the perforations in it so you get a better grip. We're actually going to grab onto the steering wheel itself. Paddle shifters are on the back to shift the gears yourself. You got these for the center stack, and then you've got the voice command phone controls. Cruise control on the other side with the adaptive function just down below it. Radio controls are underneath the paddle shifters on the back of the steering wheel. And then you have the stock for the turn signal / windshield wiper, and that's all for the steering wheel. Now here's the center gauge cluster in the Tow and Go Durango. You still get the analog gauges on either side with the screen set up there in the very center, which is pretty much just like any other Durango. You guys can see all the different options and menus that you can scroll through here with it. I do like the performance page. Obviously you can see all the timers and everything, so you can get your 0 to 60 and all that. And you know what I want someone to do is I want them to get their 0 to 60 while this is hooked up to a trailer. I think that'd be pretty interesting to see, or maybe I need to figure out a way to do that. Dodge, give me a Durango so we can test out the 0 to 60 with the trailer. Here's the center infotainment system. First off, if we pop it into reverse, you guys can see we've got the backup camera that'll pop up with trajectory lines that do turn with the steering wheel. And then you can see we've got that center line, so if you're hooking up to a trailer, that'll make hooking up a whole lot easier. As for the rest of the infotainment system, this is the Durango's new infotainment system. So first off, looks really nice. It's really nicely integrated into the dash. Response time on the new infotainment system is great. You guys can see, I mean, you touch the screen and just instantly with the response time. You do have the vehicle tab, which has the two most important functions, the camera and the headrest fold. The headrest fold is for the rear, so you press the little button and then it throws the headrest down. I don't know, neat little feature. Obviously helps out with showing some extra visibility back there. If you want to hit your kids with it, you can also do that. Again, use it for whatever you want. This does also come with the performance pages, which you can see you've got like a real-time engine, dyno, all that kind of stuff, so I can like lightly press it and then you guys can see it shows the real-time horsepower and torque. So down below here, we've got a bunch of analog controls for the Durango. So you've got your heated, cooled seats, heated steering wheel in the first section. In the middle section right there is climate controls and radio controls. And then here at the bottom, notice you've got your stability control. That's for the lane departure assistance, your parking sensors. This is for the eco mode to turn it off. Hazard lights, your snow, tow, sport, and track. Yes, this does in fact come with a track mode. I just want to kind of zoom out to show you guys this whole section. Then notice you've got more leather and stitching. And then in this area right here, we've got a bunch of USBs and then a wireless phone charger right there. Shifter for the 8-speed automatic. You do have the manual shift function if you want to shift the gears yourself with it. And then you've got some cup holders right here. And then picking this up, you guys can see you've got some extra storage space underneath. And then if you pick up just the top tab, then you guys can see that you've got that as well. And then notice you've got more stitching. It even continues here onto the top of the dash, so definitely looks really nice. And then got a glove box all lined with felt. And then notice you've got the 12 volt right there. And we have our trailer brakes already integrated from the factory. Up top here, we do have a sunroof that comes with this, and then you've got the universal garage door openers, controls for the sunroof just right there, and then you've got the lights, which you just press that little button, and then the sunglass holder, and like I said, suede, not Alcantara. That was my bad earlier, but yes, suede headliner. I'm sure at this point you guys are wondering how much this new bad boy Durango costs, and it costs $64,000 before any type of market adjustment for the total MSRP on this particular one. Let's take it out and see how it drives. Well, let's talk about visibility before we set off here in the Durango. So first off, visibility of the hood's just like any other RT Durango, and you can see the venting a little bit, which is definitely neat. There's your visibility through both of the mirrors. They do have blind spot monitoring. Here's throughout the rest of the rear, and let's set off in the Tow and Go. So we are setting off here in the new RT Durango Tow and Go. And first off, let's talk about the ride quality and the road noise. And I'm going to compare this to our regular RT so you guys can kind of understand the difference. So first off, from a ride quality perspective, because of that adaptive suspension, or sorry, the adaptive dampening rather, I should say, it feels pretty much just as smooth as a regular RT, so you're not suffering in getting harsher ride quality because you go for the Tow and Go package. Now that being said, There is a little bit more noise from the tires. It makes sense, it's got wider tires. And then on top of that, it does have a louder exhaust note. So you do hear a little bit more with that. But I'm not gonna complain about either of those because it sounds amazing. But I am gonna pop it over here into the sport mode. Instantly downshifts a gear. And oh yeah, just getting a little bit of exhaust. Definitely sounds nice. In terms of the handling, so this also does have sport tuned steering as well. I did forget to mention that in the walk around. My bad, but we're mentioning it now. It does have sport tuned steering, and you can definitely feel a difference between this compared to a regular Durango. It definitely feels a little bit more direct with the steering, and like in the sport mode, they kind of weight up the steering, so it just feels a little bit heavier, which definitely feels nice. And the brakes, they're pretty interesting. So you get tons of stopping power from the Brembos, but they are a little bit touchy, but I mean, that makes sense. Most high performance brakes are going to be like that. Taking a turn here, turn-in's pretty good. Oh, it sounds so good. This will be our partial acceleration. Ooh, it definitely sounds nice. That is a good sound. Pretty much sounds, it doesn't sound exactly like an SRT with the 6.4 Hemi, but it sounds just as beefy as that 6.4 Hemi. And well, let's get our full-blown acceleration with the Tow and Go. That sound on the upshift is just, that is perfect. Oh my goodness. And I totally did that wrong with my fingers. But anyways, sounds amazing. Acceleration is great. Even though it doesn't technically feel any faster than an RT, it sounds faster. And that's all that matters, is how fast you sound. But let's sum things up with this Tow and Go package. So first off, from the exterior perspective, it looks just like any other RT until you look at the brakes, and then you're like, okay, this thing means business. I kind of like that stealth appearance that it has, but it still looks like a cool sporty SUV compared to other SUVs in the market. Interior, very nice. Dodge has definitely stepped things up. The seats have always been nice, but all these areas that used to kind of have like plastic and all that kind of stuff now have leather and stitching, and it just all looks a whole lot nicer than it did in the past. I'm not sure what this person's doing, so we're just gonna kind of chill here and be a little bit slow. Definitely nice from an interior perspective. And then in terms of the performance, it's just like any other RT, but it sounds so much better. And then you get the added towing capability. This is what happens when you have active braking. It thinks that something's happening when in reality, it's not. But yeah, looks great, sounds great, performs great. You get higher towing capability out of it. And so just as an overall package, I think this Tow and Go package is great. And I mean, you pretty much get a lot of the good stuff from the SRT without having to shell out SRT Durango money. And then on top of that, you get better fuel economy with this compared to an SRT. Now that's going to sum things up with our video here on this 2021 Dodge Durango Tow and Go. And again, a huge shout out and thank you to the Larry Miller Dodge Ram here in Sandy for giving me some time with this Durango. Check out their inventory in the link below. I'll see all of you in the next video.